so English Language Paper 2 Section B is writing. This is worth 50% of your marks, okay? You get up to 24 marks for your style, tone, ideas, techniques and structure. So that's the content of your text, what you are including in there. There is also a vocabulary point in there. You get 16 marks for your SPAG and again vocabulary. That's 40% of your mark goes to SPAG. So you need to make sure that at a basic minimum, your capital letters and your full stops are accurate, okay? Those of you who read will have a wide vocabulary and will have lots of different words that you can be using. If you do not read, what you need to do is either start reading quick or pick a word that you use a lot when you write, okay? You know what words you use over and over again, words like good, nice, excellent. One that talent show judges use all the time is amazing. To the point where actually they don't know what amazing means, look it up. So what you need to do is you need to pick the words that you use all the time, open a thesaurus of an evening, copy down all the words for that word. Okay? Stick it on your wall, stick it on your revision board, whatever, put it on a cue card, so that you have a developed, varied vocabulary. Alright? That comes in both sections of the marks. Alright? You are given marks for vocab in both sections. So you need to make sure that you're developing your vocab. You have 45 minutes for this section. 5 to 10 minutes planning, 30 minutes writing, 5 minutes checking your work and editing. Do not write for more than 30 minutes. You will start to repeat yourself and you will start to waffle. Okay? Planning is key.
We're doing this right now?
You're going to plan it, yeah, and maybe start writing. Planning is key. Okay? You need to make sure that you know exactly where your piece of writing is going. You also need to be writing for 2.5 to 3 sides. Okay, so we're talking about exercise book A4, 2.5 to 3 sides. On a computer, that'll be between 300 and 500 words. So if you're practicing by doing it on the computer, you need to be looking for 300 to 500 words. That 300 words is the minimum that you should be writing to be able to access the majority of these marks. Okay, and you're all capable of doing it. So today, you're going to pick one of these 3 sample tasks, okay? I'm going to read through them for you. More children should get a job before the age of 16. Part-time work would teach children valuable skills that they don't learn in school. Write an article for a broadsheet newspaper in which you explain your point of view on this statement. Or, you've been asked to give a talk to an audience of young people on the following topic. Modern technology, has it made our lives better? Write the text for your talk. Or, there is no point in travelling the world these days. You can see it all on TV or on the internet. To what extent do you agree? Write an article aimed at adults giving your views. First thing you need to do is identify the genre, audience and purpose. Okay? What kind of text have you been asked to write? Speech, article, broadsheet newspaper, a talk. Who is your text aimed at? Alright? Is it aimed at adults, men, women, children your age, younger children? If we have a look at the second one, the modern technology, has it made our lives better?
Yes.
You know that you are writing for young people. So the language that you use will be very different than if you're writing for your grandparents. Alright? So if you're talking about modern technology and you want to use the phrase a USB port, most people your age will know what that is. So you don't need to explain it. If you were writing the text for your grandparents, you would probably have to explain it. Or your great-grandparents, I'm thinking of my grandparents. You would probably have to explain what a USB port is. But you can use that kind of language when you're writing for young people. Does that make sense? Yeah? So your language adapts according to who you're writing for. So you need to make sure that you understand who you're writing for. Purpose, why are you writing? Most questions, tasks that you get in the exam will lend themselves to you writing persuasively. Alright, so you're trying to persuade somebody else to think the same as you. So the most important thing that you need to do is pick a viewpoint. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are you for? Are you against? That's not to say you can't look at the opposite view in a counter argument at some point within your text, but your main focus should be yes or no, agree, disagree. Okay, particularly when you're doing persuasive, you have to pick a viewpoint. Does that make sense? Is that clear? Okay, so this is what you're going to start with. but I'm just going to talk you through the rest of the PowerPoint really quickly. Once you've done that, you'll need to go through these top 5 tips for planning your answer. I know some of you roll your eyes at planning, you don't like planning. It's so important. It saves you waffling, but more importantly, you can see a task and think, oh yeah, I know what to write about this. You write 2 paragraphs and then you run out of things to say. Okay, so it's so important that you plan, just so that you have some direction and so that you give yourself the best opportunity to write a decent piece. So you need to go through the top 5 tips and include that when you are planning. It also gives you some examples of openings, okay? A brilliant opening and one that's adequate, all right? There's other kinds of openings in between these, but this is to give you examples. And if you're at that end, maybe you need to really work on it to work your way up. And it also gives you some examples of closing. The way that you open your piece of text is going to tell the examiner at what band he should be looking. Okay? So the example I used earlier was if you were writing about golf, for example, and you said something like in your opening sentence, I really like golf, it's really fun. The examiner is going to read that opening sentence and think, right, this student is like level 1, level 2, so he's going to be looking at this part of the mark scheme. Okay? If you write, the benefits of golf can have a significant impact on everybody's life. The examiner reads that opening sentence and thinks, oh, okay, they're a level 5, level 6 student. So they are looking in that. You want your opening sentence to tell the examiner what kind of student you are, because it dictates where they look in the mark scheme as they are working their way through the rest of your work. Does that make sense? Okay? Are there any questions? Right. So you should all have this PowerPoint, and what I would like you to do is start with this slide. Pick your task and then identify your gap. Off you go.